All right. Greetings and welcome to the Hanson Select Board meeting of Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. This meeting is being recorded by Whitman Hanson Community Access Television. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. At the risk of being repetitive, boy, do we have a jammed agenda tonight. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, but we're going to get through it. And we're going to get through it by not repeating ourselves and sticking to the agenda. So with that, but before we do that, I'm going to turn to you, Mr. Hill, and prevail upon you to read the public announcements in upcoming meetings.
I'm trying not to be redundant, but I am. We are looking for citizens at large to become members of the following committees: Bylaw Committee, Cable and Internet Committee, Camp Kiwanee Commission, Capital Improvement Committee, Economic Development Committee, Energy Committee, Historical Commission, Memorial Day and Patriotic Observance Committee, and the Recreation Committee. Volunteer applications may be found on the town website, www.hanson-mass.gov, or by calling the Select Board's office at 781-293-2131. The Hanson Public Library is holding a Library of Things showcase on Saturday, April 5th, 2025, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Stop in to explore all the amazing things you can borrow from the library. Try out giant yard games, musical instruments, educational kits, technology equipment, and more. Enjoy free popcorn and other refreshments while you browse the collection. All are welcome to join supporters of the library for a Love Your Hanson Day on Saturday, April 12th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in front of the Hanson Town Hall. Stop by for as long as you want to celebrate National Library Week and help raise awareness of the library as a vital community resource. A take-home craft for children will be available to pick up, and refreshments will be provided. The 16th Annual Hanson Cleanup Green Up will be Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., rain or shine. Volunteers will meet at the Nathaniel Thomas Mill to sign in and pick up supplies and assignments. All would reconvene at the end of the morning to report out and have a pizza party. The Hanson American Legion is hosting a Sip and Shop craft fair on Saturday, April 26, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be over 60 vendors inside and out on the pavilion, upstairs and downstairs bars with a bake sale table, raffles, and Cape Cod pizzas. Table space is $30. For more information, contact David George at davidgeorge02341@gmail.com or call or text 781-316-7605. Camp Kiwanee is hosting a wedding expo on Sunday, April 27th, 2025 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be over 30 wedding vendors and with giveaways, food trucks, and a cash bar. Admission and parking are free. For more information, contact Renee at rbrown@hanson-mass.gov. And the upcoming Select Board meetings are April 15th and April 29th. And the April Annual Special Town Meeting is May 5th, 2025. The Town Clerk's Office will be closed all day on Friday, April 11th. And the Select Board's office will be closed all day on Friday, April 11th. Thank you.
Okay, well, that was a marathon list of announcements and meetings. No, you did quite well. We appreciate it. First up on the agenda, we have Travis Gamel, Andrew DeLuca, Michael Real, South Shore Tech Senior Civics Project, clean and repair the skate park. I got a note yesterday from Travis, who I think is kind of taking the lead in terms of communication. Hello, Mrs. Fitzgerald Kemet. I am Andrew DeLuca, and I am the first agenda item under new business on the Town Select Board meeting tomorrow night. I am emailing because I am unable to make it to this meeting and would still like this project to be considered at the meeting. Could you please read the following information to the Select Board in my absence? I, Andrew DeLuca, along with my classmates, Travel Gamel and Michael Real, would like to clean up the trash and repair the skate park of Hanson as part of our high school civics project. We won't need any help from the town, but do wish for the town's approval for this project. We plan to paint over the graffiti on the ramps, clean up the trash around the park, and do minor concrete work to fix the defects throughout the skate park. We grew up at the skate park and would like to see it be around for future generations to enjoy. Please let me know what the board thinks. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. Thoughts? It does need work. I walk by it, a couple times a week when I use the town forest, and it's pretty beat up. They're not looking for money from us. They're looking to give back to the town. There's no cost. They're cleaning up and painting over stuff. I don't think it's...
No, it's not, it sounds like a good idea. My only thought on it is there's crumbling concrete and they're gonna fix it.
I think they were pretty clear about minor concrete work, so I don't know, probably,
Right.
I'm guessing that it's a filler that they're putting in there, just some kind of
That's
little.
my only thought.
Yeah, yeah.
When I hear crumbling concrete,
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. Maybe, Ms. Green, we can have these guys, connect with, Richard Jasmine, just to not have them oversee it, but kind of consult a little bit on what they're doing and make sure that it's gonna, pass muster.
yeah, yes.
Okay. Did anybody else have any other?
Yeah, is it the highway's responsibility? I don't want it
No,
to be stepping on
it is
feet.
not.
But who,
They do not take care of parks. Highway is not responsible
so
for
this
parks.
this is Park and Field? So-
Nope, it's not Parks and Fields. That was built with the people that built it, the proponents building it, saying, we will take care of it forever, and the town never has to worry about it.
Okay.
So here we
So
are.
we're not stepping on anybody's feet by having these,
There's nobody
Help fix it.
directly responsible for this.
okay, and this is perfect. I agree with
We
Ann's
can
concern.
certainly reach out to Parks and Fields just in the event that they feel that this might be under their purview, but I've never seen them, this isn't where a sport is being played, and that's typically what their realm is, so.
So I'm all for it. I just think logistically, are they gonna have to shut it down for a period of time? What is that gonna look like? And then it is town property, I'm assuming. So as long as somebody gives a stamp of approval, that it's fine, because I do trust that they know what they're doing. They clearly have a good insight into this, but if somehow something happens, then somebody trips and falls because of it, what happens?
I think my suggestion to the board would be that we approve this contingent upon Ms. Green and Mr. Jasmine stepping in and kind of not overseeing, but supporting and making sure that we've got liability things straightened out, that it's, work is being done in a manner that we would feel comfortable with, that type of thing. Because these guys are well-intentioned, but they're seniors in high school. So, so does everybody feel comfortable with that direction?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will entertain,
I don't know if do we have Parks and Fields? Do we
No.
need to- Okay, never mind, okay, never mind.
okay. I will entertain, that motion.
So moved.
Second.
And do you feel comfortable with that, Ms. Green?
Yes, and I will actually.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't take the full, so we're gonna, motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, go ahead, shoot.
I'll work with town council maybe to draft up some type of a waiver.
Yeah.
Liability waiver, to have them sign, or actually have the parents sign, because they're minors, before any work starts.
Yep,
That
that
way
sounds
the town's protected.
Okay, great. All right, great, thank you. And then that brings us to our second item, which is Eagle Scout Project Jaden Tarasi. Is he here, or do we have anything from Jaden?
Just the email that, that we have from.
All right, why don't we see if we can get him here next week to talk to him?
Absolutely.
All right, that brings us to a vote to reopen May 2025 town meeting warrant. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and the reason for needing to open it was, I had an opportunity to speak with, Teresa Santalucia, Corinne Cafado, and Karen Stolfer regarding the, proposed potential library, project. And as part of that and part of the grant process, there were some late-breaking moving parts that needed to be secured sooner rather than later. And one of them was, to create a short-term committee, a design and planning committee, not a standing committee, and then create a standing committee by placing something in the town meeting warrant, and then also they would like us to take a vote to say that we support allocating some land for the purposes of the potential future library project. Not all of which needs to be in the warrant, but the library building committee does. So I will entertain a motion, and we had already discussed this at our last meeting, that we might need a warrant article to create the library building committee. So the warrant is open for the purposes of voting that, and then we're gonna close the warrant. So I will entertain a motion to add the library building committee article to the town meeting warrant for, May 2025.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions on that? All in favor? Great. Remind me, were we needing the?
Lisa has a question.
Yep,
Just prior to closing the town meeting.
I'm not closing it yet.
Oh, okay.
Remind me, we needed the 3.2 in there as well for in October, but now you just need a support vote. Okay, all right, Ms. Green, about the closing the town meeting warrant?
Just prior, there is, as far as the special town meeting warrant, a unpaid bill from the last fiscal year was brought to our office today. Apparently, it was sent to the school department, where it spent almost a year in the schools, kind of floating around, and then it finally ended up at the highway department where it belonged, and it was brought to our office. So we will be adding that to the special town meeting for a prior fiscal year unpaid bill.
And how much is that for?
It's $1,250.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to add is that just going to be added to the unpaid bills?
Yes.
Okay. To add that to the unpaid bills, and to add the article, we've already voted the library building committee, so just to add that to the unpaid bills.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I will,
Okay, that wasn't on the agenda.
that was not on the agenda, but we're opening the warrant, so, yeah. And then I will vote to close the warrant for the May 2025 town meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. And then that brings us to, as you will recall, we had a discussion with the folks from the library regarding the site and the fact that they really don't know what the proposal is going to be, whether it's going to be a build-out of the existing facility or a new library that's being proposed. But in either event, they need to have some agility and ability to be flexible about the location. And because of that, they really want to know that we support notionally setting aside the three, which we already had discussed, the 3.2 acres right adjacent to where the library currently is. And, you know, if things progress, we will add it to the October town meeting and, make a more formal decision as a town that that land will be dedicated to this. This is more of a vote of support from the select board to set aside that land until we put it in the town meeting warrant if the grant moves forward. So I will entertain a motion to support the potential use of 3.2 acres of the former McQuon School property for the library.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. And just trying to think. I'm trying to get all of the library stuff out so you guys don't have to hang the whole time. And I would like a motion, so as I mentioned, there's a short-term need for the library folks because they're going to be going through an RFQ process and down-selecting the people who will be working with them to develop plans for the site. And so although we've added the standing committee to the upcoming town meeting warrant, they need a short-term committee to be created by us, and it would be the Library Design and Planning Committee. So I will entertain a motion to create the Library Design and Planning Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. And then at one of our meetings, I want to say it was 2 meetings ago, there was a list of people that had applied for that Library Design and Planning Committee. And do you have that list handy? Because I don't think I have it in my, if you could just rattle it off, that would be tremendously helpful.
Karen Stover.
Yep.
Myself, Capano, Teresa Santalucia.
Pam,
Dickey,
yep,
Linda Wall,
Linda Wall. I thought Pam,
Melissa Belvin, and Pam Frank.
okay. So I will entertain a motion to appoint those individuals to the Library Design and Planning Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Hey, can I ask a question?
It was myself and Tony, but we said we can't be on.
What, you're on there, you're just not voting members. You're like, okay, I'm sorry?
And,
I just had a question.
oh,
And
yes, Pat Viola.
and Mr.
George is our.
George, which I know you hate me calling you Mr. George, but I'm
I
sorry.
just had a question.
Yeah.
What, the 3 acres that's going to the library?
It's not going to the library. What we're saying is that so when they work with the architect, they don't want to just say, yeah, the selectmen sort of said it was okay for us to use that 3 acres when we're thinking about what we want to do. They wanted a vote saying that, like, we're okay with you considering that 3 acres when you do your design.
But do they need the 3 acres or they don't know?
We don't know. We won't know. Yeah.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, no,
So,
the way it sounds is like they're making us, gonna put on a 3 acre addition.
no, in fact, if it gets to that point where they actually do need the 3 acres, then that will go to town meeting and it will be in the town meeting warrant and everybody will vote on whether they want to give that land to the library.
Right.
This is just sort of a vote of support.
Okay.
We were at the appointment of the members of the Library Design and Planning Committee, the list of which was just mentioned. And did I have a
Yes,
motion?
you had a motion and a second.
Second, fantastic. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And then I believe our last item of business for the folks from the library is to vote to allow them to use
Town Hall Green.
the town, yeah, I was trying to find it.
Number 9.
For the Board of, not the Board of Trustees, for the Library Foundation, to reserve the Town Hall Green for April 12th, 2025, for Love Your Library Day from 1 to 3. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much. It looks like a busy day. It's opening day. We've got Love Your Library. We have a lot of stuff happening that day.
Library.
All right, and then that brings us to discuss the location of May annual and special town meeting. Ms. Green contacted me last week and said, do you think it might be wise, out of an abundance of caution, to consider having this meeting at the high school rather than overflow and all the other stuff that we deal with, which doesn't tend to go super well or super smoothly. So what are people's thoughts?
Is the hospital, is the high school open to it? I mean, is it a possibility?
I have spoken with the high school, yes. The auditorium can, the auditorium is a 845 individual capacity. The gymnasium is larger. Both are available that night, and the high school has penciled us in. So we just need to complete the form with moving the town meeting to the high school, with which area we'd like.
I'm fine with it, but, am I wrong in that, the town moderator has to call that?
Ultimately, yes, the
Okay.
town moderator does make the decision of the
And
location.
we do need an order from, town council needs to file a motion.
So you remember when we moved into the high school during COVID?
Yes.
We had to get, because the address is actually in Whitman, and what Chapter 39 prescribes is that it has to be within the bounds of Hanson in order to have town meeting. So what we did during COVID is we filed a complaint with the Superior Court and got an immediate action by the court to bless the fact that it was being held outside of the town boundaries. I know there's, and Beth made the really great point that high school is physically located in part, but this is just prophylactic measure, because what we really do not want to have happen is the entire town meeting
No, we do not want
gets
that.
invalidated, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just a smart move to do, and that's what we did in the past, so.
Okay,
Makes
All right.
sense to me, so with
so,
Sean's blessing, yeah.
yes, we do need, Sean really is, town moderator decides where town meeting is. We can take all the action and support it that we want, but, so I will, we will, I will entertain the motion that we support that, and we support Lisa working with town council and the moderator to make that happen.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. And report back if there's any problems on that. Okay, and then that brings us to that brings us to 2025 May Annual Special Town Meeting. And thank you very much for everybody who's hung in there for all of that painful discussion leading up to this. Okay, Ms. Green, anything that you want to mention as we dive right in here?
So there have been, some changes in the warrant, this is still in draft form. We're still tweaking language and things, but pretty much most of the warrant is where it's gonna be. There's not gonna be a whole lot of changes. There might be some minor language changes as we progress, but this warrant here is the warrant that will be posted. The informational warrant will have more information in it as it becomes available to us. We did just change the, we changed the number of some of the articles based on the type of votes and the type of article it is. So we just kind of changed the order. For instance, we do have article that creates a water enterprise, water department enterprise. So
Did we talk to the finance committee before we decided we were gonna change the order of the articles and everything? Because, everybody sort of builds the house on the foundation of the initial.
So basically, it's just substantive. There's an article that fell later in the warrant that actually creates the Water Enterprise Fund. So Article 13, is the appropriation of the Water Enterprise Funds, but the article to create the Water Enterprise Fund was later in the warrant. So we just took that and we put it before creating the funding for the Water Enterprise Fund.
Is that the only change that you made?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so any other possible changes or just language changes, or would not involve, basically, the finance committee, it's not funding or, money related.
And have all the department heads and submitting committees and boards approved the articles that we have here for their.
They were all invited to look at the articles. We do have some of them here tonight.
Okay, and
So-
has town council approved the
Kate-
warrant as it is?
I
Kate-
did my first proof. Yeah.
She's done her
Okay.
first proof,
And
yes.
has the town clerk had an opportunity to review?
Yes, she has.
Okay.
Yes, and she's been very instrumental with, helping us with, again, order of the articles and some language and things like that, so
Okay.
definitely a team effort.
Okay, and we're at a point where we have, made a motion to place all of these articles, but we have not made a motion to approve. And what is our timing on that? Because we want, I think, your meeting tonight, Kevin, right, to kind of, and I don't mean, I'm speaking to Kevin Sullivan, who was the chair of the finance committee, we don't really like to vote before we have your feedback. It doesn't mean we're always gonna vote the same, because sometimes we've got that little natural, friction, but we like to try to harmonize whenever possible, so,
So, actually, Madam Chair, the board has really not taken votes to place, so that would need to, we would do that tonight.
okay, all right, let's,
And then recommendations normally come later.
Okay, I'm trying to think of the best use of everybody who's here, the best use of their time, and I don't think going through and placing, which we can do after everybody leaves, is probably the most effective use of everybody's time. So let's think about strategy here. Since we've got, did you have anything you wanted to say, Mr. Sullivan?
So this is the first if this draft is the one we're gonna go with, and what Eric updated electronically, then we can start making our recommendations. Again, the problem is always that we start switching or pulling, and then we have to go back and redo.
Yes.
So if we're confident that this is what's gonna be brought before town meeting, then we can start making recommendations tonight on
Okay.
the articles. We go from there.
Okay, and, yes,
This has to be posted this week, so at least the special town meeting has to be posted this week.
yes, we're planning on placing, we don't need to do the recommendations this week, so, we'll get through the placement, we're just not gonna do with, it's like watching paint dry, basically, for everybody else, to sit here while we go through that ministerial task. So, okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to be super clear on the library, because in some of the prior drafts, we did have the article to support up to the 3.2 acres of McQuon was in the annual, but now it's just kind of a vote of support.
It is not in the
article.
meeting, it is not in the warrant.
There's no, right, so we will hold that for the October.
Right,
If need be.
Mrs. Santa Lucia wrote a very detailed email to you.
And I'm just clarifying.
Okay, all right.
I just want to be
Okay.
super clear. And also, as far as the library building committee, the temporary one is only created by the board, and we do have an article in the special town meeting to create the long-term building, library
The
building.
standing
The
committee.
standing.
Yes.
Perfect. That, I just needed to be clear
Yep.
on those.
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay, great. Okay, is there anything else that, is a little different that you need to point out to us?
I think everything else, unless somebody finds something, I think everything else pretty much has been, capital improvement, article number 7, capital improvement. The capital improvement committee does have a meeting, on Monday, April 14th to, discuss and consider the, capital improvement articles. So we will wait on that.
And I do want to do a shout out to Frank Melissi for saving our bacon on this one and helping us put this together, even though he technically had resigned, but he
He did help us with the
Yeah.
matrix, but I
Yep.
took on the, actually reaching out to the standing members to coordinate a meeting, generate the agenda, get it posted, and provide the information to the members.
Okay, great. Okay. I'm trying to think what order, we would, I guess since we've got TJ Rofi here from, Conservation Commission, did you have an article that you wanted to, talk to us about?
I'm here to answer questions.
Okay, your article, Ms. Green, do you know what number it is?
Let's see, so they have,
Okay.
they do have two. One is actually kind of it looks like it's a, combination between the, Community Preservation Act and the Conservation Commission. That is, I just had it in my hand. Hold on. Okay, so this is, to see if the town will vote and appropriate and transfer $8,000.
What number is it?
I'm sorry, number 11.
All right. So,
Yes.
and this has been, why is this being proposed by both committees? Community preservation money can only be proposed for expenditure by the Community Preservation Committee. Nobody else can propose it. They can apply to the Community Preservation Committee to work through the proposal, but the only party, the appropriating party for Community Preservation Committee funding is Community Preservation.
So we can remove the conservation.
Okay, so, that's the proposed parking area. And so, TJ, I know, the town acquired the sleeper property a number of years back. And although you can access it through, what's, commonly referred to as Smitty's Bog and even through, Camp Kawani, up the hill, this is a proposal for some handicapped, parking.
Yeah, so both the state grant and the conservation restriction that's held on the property require us to provide a couple of accessible parking spaces on Juan Street.
Okay.
CPC has voted to approve, so.
Okay. And I think that's important. And one of the things, one of our lessons learned from our last town meeting, there were many, many lessons learned, but one of them was that it's important, although we may go with the process of having our town moderator, for expediency's sake, be the one to be reading the articles and even the explanations, there are some cases in which we need somebody to give a little bit more depth to the explanation, and this would be one of those, because what you just said, it's required by the grants that we got, even though it's here, I think it would be important for somebody from your committee to get up. So hoping you guys, I think Dave did the last town meeting anyway, so I think it's a best practice for you guys to do that. So if you don't mind, that would be great. Did anybody have any questions about Article 11? Okay.
Since we're talking, can we place it, make a motion to place and recommend?
Go for it, yeah.
Make a motion to place and recommend Article 11?
Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. Good idea, Mr. Weeks. And then, what other article are we?
So there's also Article 23.
Okay,
And this is to basically place 308 McQuon Street, Assessors Map 70, Lot 37, into the care and custody of the Conservation Commission.
okay. And that's a town-owned piece of property.
This is that,
It is a town-owned piece of property that a couple of citizens requested we consider putting into conservation.
Yeah.
Specifically Article 97. My understanding, without speaking for anybody else in the room, is that the property has a higher usage for the Juan Street redevelopment, if it ever takes place. And if we put it into Article 97, that's going to be, much like the water property, kind of tough to ever do anything with. So,
Okay, so,
Once it's in Article 97,
it takes an active state legislature to pull it out, if you can even do it. So, I was gonna go to you, Mr. DeFrayers, and ask you what your thoughts are, since you would be the person who we would talk to about the McQuon property. But before I do that, it's interesting to me that you're saying that it's a couple of people that have asked you to do that, because typically, when we've been asked to put property into conservation, it's because conservation uniquely themselves have identified that the property is of a particular importance to them from a conservation perspective.
so the people who live in town came to us originally to ask if it was in conservation
Okay.
protection.
Yeah,
And it was not. And so they were concerned that something could potentially be done with the property if it was not in conservation protection. It has conservation value, being shoreline to the pond, but if it's also more useful in other applications, we don't want to hamstring potential future progress for the sake of a vista at the pond.
okay. Mr. DeFrayes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That particular piece of property does show up as part of the tip design.
I was thinking that.
There is some drainage structures that, as part of the tip, they're looking to put on that property. Obviously, we're not at the final stages yet, but that property is valuable as part of the design. And also, we will consider looking at that as a potential, I'm gonna use the term pocket park, if you will. Something that's just a vista, a couple of benches, open space, 1 or 2 parking spaces, nothing crazy. So that parcel does have value that would be hamstringed if it goes into chapter 97.
Okay,
I can see that.
I can too.
And
Thoughts?
We had submitted this originally without talking to anybody else at town hall, so it's been brought to our attention, like the higher use of this has been brought to our attention since this was sent to you a couple months ago.
Okay, I mean, you know, I want to be respectful that you guys are given a job to do and that you're doing it, and it is certainly not our intention to micromanage, but it is our intention, it is our role to try to look more holistically at things, and is this the best use for the town? And in as much as I don't see that there's any pressing need right now, because there's nothing particularly being planned other than potentially there might be some structures, but as we speak, there's nothing. Would you be offended if we entertained a discussion about perhaps striking it from the warrant?
No.
Okay, what do people think?
I'll make that motion.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree, yes.
And is that a second?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. Thank you for that explanation, both of you. Are there any other conservation articles?
Then there is Article 24.
Okay,
Article 24 is just replenish the conservation fund. There is an article in the town meeting, the warrant every year that with a sum of money to replenish the conservation fund.
and in principle, I don't have a problem with that, but this is a dollar, you know, it's a dollar request for something which I really would like to hear back from FinCom. So I don't have a problem with voting to place it, but I just don't think we're in a position to,
So moved to
Yeah.
place.
Sorry, I have a question.
No, yeah.
This action, when you just struck that one through, is that gonna change all the numbers now, Lisa? The numbers of the article?
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
From 24 will become
Yeah, this is
20.
exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
because now I'm gonna go up and, alright, I'll strike it out and assume that they all just cascade in order.
Yes.
yes. We will not make any
But this
other,
is again, why we need to, administratively, we need to have these all.
that couldn't have been predicted, in all honesty. I do hear your frustration, and there may be other things we could have planned for, but this, I don't think we could have planned for that. And the other option would be to leave it there and pass it over, but the danger in that is that those same individuals who may feel impassioned about us putting it into conservation then get up at town meeting and make that motion, and, you know, and I don't think we're at a point where we want to do that, so apologies, I understand. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to place Article 24.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, great. Any other conservation articles?
Those are I'm sorry, yes, there is Article 25. Article 25 is for appropriating $5,000 for the required inspection of the Factory Pond Dam in fiscal 2026.
So moved.
Second, place and recommend them.
Okay.
And recommend it,
Okay.
absolutely.
All in favor of placing and recommending? Okay, great. All right, that's amazing. All right, anything else?
That is it for conservation.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Rofi. We appreciate it. Okay.
Can I ask a silly question? That might be.
Yeah.
Can we move an article from the back to replace that one so that the numbers of the articles
No,
don't?
because you'll see the last two are the same type of article. You'll see
Okay,
why.
and not maybe the last one.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we could, just to keep the other ones in order, but that's probably no reason.
Okay. Now that we've got folks from planning here, so what articles have we got from planning?
So. Those ones.
I don't see special.
Is it at the back? Thanks, TJ. Oh, specials at the back,
I
yeah.
see it.
In the annual, there is.
Two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know which numbers they are?
22.
22.
Two.
Okay.
Okay.
22, Mr. DeFrayis or Mr. Campbell, I don't know if you guys want to explain it?
Somebody's talking at the mic this time.
Okay.
So, the town of Hanson, we allowed for in-law apartments and what was known as detached accessory dwelling units. Those were done by special permit under the zoning bylaw. The state changed the legislation in section 3 of the zoning act.
Yep.
Now allowing for attached and detached accessory dwelling units as of right. So that came into effect February 2nd. So our bylaw would become null and void. So we created, with assistance from council, a new section of the bylaw that will address attached and detached accessory dwelling units. Basically, an attached one, what we used to call an in-law, will now just be an attached accessory dwelling unit. So we're making amendments to the bylaw to address these, which will now be as of right. One thing I did do is the Attorney General's office did allow for preliminary review of bylaws and would make comments. So that way, by the time you get to them, and before you went to town meeting, there might be some adjustments.
Yeah.
To make. The planning board has done their report and has gone through. I sent that up to the AG's office, CCJ Talman from Town Council, who's been working with us. And there may be some minor language here in this article that may be adjusted, and he is working with Kate and to get it all squared away for the town.
Okay, again, similar to what I said to TJ, which is, in particular, the planning articles seem to be quite the lightning rods at town meeting. So if you guys could plan on having somebody, get up to the mic and explain in layman's terms for those people that, aren't knee-deep in, the planning board things, that would be great. Okay, I will entertain a motion to, place and recommend.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. All right, and what else have we got?
In the annual, that's all. I don't believe planning has anything else in the annual. They do have some articles in the special, but we're not doing the special
Okay.
right now.
Yes, Mr. Sullivan?
I have a question just to follow up over here. Articles 29 and 30, same thing.
Yeah, they're both,
Just on the off chance, what happens if one passes and one doesn't?
That's a good question for town council.
I mean, these people couldn't have gotten together on the same one?
I know, and unfortunately, with citizen petitions, you have to take them as they come.
Yeah, you-
Beth was saying,
Yeah.
I just, what happens now?
if one passes and the other one doesn't,
Just on some.
it depends on,
Left or something?
no, I mean, if one of them passes, then
It's repealed.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
the other one, I'm imagining the other one, they're not gonna move it.
I imagine the other one, they'll get up to say, I move to pass over it, because they will have already obtained what they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Greco, Montreal.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, we've come perilously close in the past to that at our town meetings, so, everything's on the table. Okay, Ms. Green.
So if I may, we have an article, number 26, that is proposed by the Thomas Mill Committee, and I noticed that we do have Mr. Means here, to speak on that article.
Well, I'm sorry, were we done with planning?
Yeah.
We
Did you
don't, there are no further articles in the annual. We
Right, but I
jump
want
right
to
to
wrap
special.
up
Oh, okay.
everything we've
So
got
you
for
wanna do
planning, and then we'll
Okay.
move on to whoever else is here.
Something in special for planning?
So for planning, in the special, which is in the back of your packet, there are, let's see, there's there's 3 articles in the special. And these articles, are placed here to replace, funding from prior articles that were erroneously, depleted or, closed during budgeting for the FY '25. And so we have these in special to replenish, the funding for these projects that were previously approved in prior town meeting articles, and then erroneously closed out by our town accountant when we were having budget issues. So,
But if they were already approved by town meeting, and town meeting didn't vote to close them, did we vote to close them?
No, but if you look at the bylaw, the town accountant closed after the meeting with the department, so.
So that's not make, that's,
Town meeting didn't close them, and then when we certified the free cash, that showed that unexpended funds, instead of carrying over, it was part of our free cash that got certified. So they do have to be revoted.
Is it Article
They're no
3?
longer in the background in the accounts and they've gone to free cash, then you have to do it again for sure. So,
okay.
yeah.
So you said 3 articles in special? I'm only seeing Article 3 and 4. Is there another one?
there's articles, there's 3, 4, and 5. Oh, wait a minute,
It says select board though.
that's the select board.
And these are the 2 other ones that say select board / planning board. So
Okay, so 3, 4,
there's nothing else in there from the planning, board?
and 5. So, yeah, so 3, 4, and 5 should say
Just planning
proposed
board,
by planning board.
not select board.
Well, since.
Did the planning
since
board
we-
take votes on these? To reinstate, to put these back in the warrant? Protocol is everything, Ms. Green. If they didn't vote on this, then I don't see how they could be their articles, even though they originally proposed them.
We did have a meeting and discussed it.
I know you had a meeting and you felt super spicy that they had been taken away from you and you weren't aware of it. But my question is, did you take a vote at your planning board saying, we want these to be put back into the town meeting warrant? We want these articles to be resubmitted.
I will verify, but I believe that did happen.
Okay, and if not, when is your next meeting? Next Monday? Okay. Thoughts?
Yeah, it should be per vote to be a proposed article. It should be a vote of the particular body, so it doesn't look like things are done
That's what I
without
thought,
their
yeah.
approval. But if it has been voted,
It has not.
Tony.
What if it hasn't though?
No, Tony said, I believe so, right?
I'll verify our minutes, but I can't tell you right now that was sure. I want to
But-
verify the minutes.
You said this has to be printed this week, right?
Sorry?
The special has to be printed, so I mean, let's assume that they didn't.
Is there
So-
any way to, let's assume they
Let's assume they didn't.
Then
It can be select board?
Select board.
Well, or is it possible for us to put planning board, which is properly should say, they take a vote, and if that vote doesn't pass, which is very unlikely since they really wanted to have this money back, then we could make a change on the floor to say that it was by the select board and not the planning board.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
okay.
this isn't a bylaw that is
No.
legally required
No.
by them, but it's a matter of protocol, right?
Okay, so we want to have it say planning board for those articles,
For all 3.
for all 3, and then we want to have you guys voted at your Monday meeting, to say that you want, and who is planning on getting up to explain this? Because I think it's gonna be a bit confusing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of looking at you, Mr. Kincher, because I feel,
Absolutely, I'll let.
okay, all right.
I can explain it right now, I'll give you a.
No, you did explain it to us, and I do understand what happened, and it was a disconnect, but I think that it would be clearer and more transparent if the explanation was coming from you, so that it doesn't look like planning's trying to pull some fast one, or, whatever false narrative somebody wants to construct.
About $31,000.
Yeah. So, do you guys feel comfortable with that? Okay, so I will entertain a motion to place and recommend with it being proposed by the planning board contingent upon them, voting that on Monday. Okay.
Second, this is Article 3, right? Are you doing
3, 4, and 5.
Article 3, 4, and 5, yes.
Yep,
Second.
okay. All in favor? Okay. Any other planning board articles, Ms. Green, or?
And I can be their warrants backup too. if someone's-
Yeah, I mean, look,
But thank you.
we asked him to sharpen his pencil, and he just went a little too far. He just like sharpened it a little too much, that time, but all for a good reason, so we get it. Okay, so any other questions? Planning guys, are you all set? Okay, awesome, thank you for coming, we appreciate your time. So I think our other folks that are in the room would be, Mr. Means, and you're here for the Thomas Mill, Committee? Article 26, you say?
26.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. And that's to vote to transfer, 19,500 from unexpected funds appropriated in Article 10 of the 20, to permit the Thomas to install the water well. All right, did you want to, I hate to torture you, but do you mind coming up here? Because nobody will be able to hear you from back there, on cable. And you know you want your 5 minutes on cable, Mr. Means.
I don't need to be on the TV. I know.
All right, so can you lay this up for us and tell us
Yeah,
what's
this was,
happening?
I think it came through capital improvement, if I remember correctly, last May town meeting. I stood up, talked about needing the roof on the place.
Yep,
At the time I got all the prices, unfortunately, I hate using the word COVID, prices were still in effect.
yeah.
And I ended up getting a huge change in price on getting that roof done. I went from over $40,000 down to like, I can't remember the exact numbers. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it ended up leaving me 19.5 left.
That's a great story to tell.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, yeah.
So, for once, things worked in our favor,
Yeah.
which is amazing for the
Yeah,
town.
that's awesome.
We found out the committee decided to ask if we can use that money to finally have that wheel installed.
This is gonna be controversial, Mr. Means.
What is it?
I mean, that
That wheel, I've asked 100 times when that thing's getting put in. Anyone I see, when's that going in? I said, well, it's a funding issue.
Okay, and you know this year,
Oh, I know.
okay.
But I figured this money's technically already there. It's on a capital improvement line. So
Oh,
I figured it's
okay.
worth a shot. Well, the worst the people
All's
can
fair
say,
in love and war this year.
the worst
Mr.
people can
Means,
say
so,
is no. That's my theory, just like when I stood up at Maytown meeting. My theory was, you're gonna tell me no, and that's fine, but I want you to be aware.
Okay.
That's all.
I like your attitude, that's all we can do is present the facts and then.
So I got
Yep.
the information. I gotta get a crane in to do it.
Okay,
Talked prices, so I got 3 prices on that. I got 3 prices for 3 different people to install it. Come down, they're all saying it's gonna need new concrete pads put in down there.
okay,
To mount the new stand on and everything else, just because of the age of this concrete and everything else, no one's comfortable to put their name on it saying they put it in. So they gotta do that. So it's gonna come under the 1,900, so we were hoping maybe to do some repairs on the building, like the doors starting to rot on it and stuff. So, I'm trying to see if I can get that number back up. I meant to have everything, I thought I had it, and I didn't have it, and had no other guy message it to me. Yeah, so I got the best price I got for the, 1 minute's too big. The best price I got for the crane was gonna be like $2,500 for a round number. And the best price I got for the installer guy, the construction guy to do the concrete, that would actually assemble it and everything else was, 11,800.
11,800?
Yep.
Okay,
Those were the best prices I got at the time. Again, I reached out to 3 different people for each of those items, knowing that we need 3 prices. Those prices could vary a little bit because most of them, they're 90 days to a year. Your price quotes are good for, so there could be a variation, hopefully in our favor, but not always. Not always gonna get that lucky.
as long as your lumber's not coming from Canada,
Yeah.
be okay.
So, and then we'd like the entry doors, get some rod on it, so if we can use it to just put some maintenance back onto that building, would be huge. And that's all we're asking the townspeople to, maybe we can finally make people happy, see the wheel back in. I'd be happy to see the wheel back in. It's been a long, drawn-out project.
Too long.
Yeah, all right,
So that's what we're looking at.
No, so you're basically gonna put the wheel in, and then extra money's gonna be used to fix the building, the boardwalk?
shape it up a little
It
bit.
doesn't mention the building, yeah, but.
It does.
Oh, it does.
He
Oh, it
put,
does.
and make necessary
Got it.
repairs to wooden boardwalk and building.
Building, okay, yep.
Yeah.
That's all rough cut lumber.
Okay, to place.
To place.
And we're gonna have to pump the brakes on whether we're recommending or not, because we're trying to coordinate with FinCom.
Yep.
And as I mentioned
But is
before,
FinCom already clawing that money back?
they haven't voted yet on what they're doing with all the articles, but I am getting a certain kind of look from Mr. Sullivan.
I'm sure you are. I'm ignoring Mr. Sullivan.
That would indicate that perhaps they're not gonna look favorably on
I
it,
know.
so.
No, I was just here just in case you had any questions or anything tonight.
No, I think you've answered all of our questions and you've been very thorough. So, there was a,
Yeah, this is one of those, articles that I strongly believe that the townspeople should they should make the decision on what they do with the money, especially given the climate. So I would make a recommendation that we place and defer to town meeting.
Yeah, that, I can go
so you
along with
guys,
that, yeah.
okay, all right.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay, wait a minute, who moved it and seconded it?
Did you move it?
Was I go along with
I
that
don't
officially
care.
a second? I don't know.
I'll second
Okay.
it, it's fine.
All right, okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
All right, and Mr. Kenny, do we have a, meeting article here for you?
Yeah.
Can you point us in that direction?
So that is going to be, hold on just a moment. This has to do with a recent change in the canine,
Yes.
laws.
What number?
It's number 17, Articles 17 in 18 and 19.
Okay.
So this has to do with, a change in the dog licensing bylaw. And what was the name of the dog that they named this out?
Ollie's Law.
Ollie's Law. So there's been a change in the language on the bylaw regarding, when dog licenses, when the notification and when the license needs to be renewed. And, you know, they're changing the fiscal years from like July through June to calendar year, January through December.
Was that a law or was it, it was the town clerk that proposed that to us?
What was that?
Yeah.
So this is not directly
All
related
these
to
lawyers to change the kennel size.
the kennels, sorry.
3 dogs to 4 dogs.
So Article 17 is the article that
Proposed by the.
was by the town clerk to just bring it to January, it just change up the timing.
Easier.
So not the animal control officer.
No,
Strike
18's
that.
gotta be always.
It was proposed by the town clerk.
Makes it,
And the animal control.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind
Okay.
of work out what we got.
All right. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, and then 18, I think that's the one you were referring to, the 5 dogs or more, or maybe it's the next one.
The Ollie's Law, yes, I'm sorry, this is the one that, changes the amount of dogs, that's required for a kennel license.
And again, the state has changed their law.
We changed the wording
Yep,
from 4 or more
yep,
to.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Yep.
74 and more. So
Okay.
it's changed the wording on it, which would allow towns to have people own 4 dogs instead of owning 3 dogs.
Okay.
They need a kennel license.
All right, so we're just making sure that we're consistent with the state law.
We would be changing our wordage to match the state wordage.
Okay, all right. So I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. And I think the next one is on fees. Mr.
So
Kenny.
that one's similar, they changed off-dog leash, like running at large fees. We had pretty past dated prices set for them in the current laws, and then those are the state law fees.
Okay, so-
I can technically, as animal control, I can charge state fees as it is, or by-law fees, but typically we go with a by-law fee, and we're just trying to make the wordage match.
Appreciate that. It's good to have consistency so we don't have any
Yeah.
questions about which one prevails.
That's what I
Yep.
figured, go consistent versus.
Did you have a question?
There's just a typo on that one. I think it says failure to license by March 1 SR.
Yeah, I have that. It just didn't get changed for this meeting, sorry.
How much is the first offense right now?
$15. Right now, it's $15.
1, 5, 2.
per dog.
So somebody's dog gets out like one time, they're gonna get whacked
So
50
all to
bucks.
at discretion, so I'm gonna be 100% honest, if somebody has a first-time dog, the dog gets out and it's never been picked up, I don't charge them.
You're not talking about somebody whose dog rushes the door and busts out. You're talking about,
These are
yeah.
usually for typically repeat offender, people that have issues in
Yeah.
neighborhoods and along those lines.
People who maybe pretend that we don't have leash laws and
Yeah.
their dog can roam freely. Yeah,
Running free in parks
Yeah.
and stuff like that, in public areas. You use, in any public office, you have to use discretion of the event. This isn't the guy that goes to take his groceries and the dog runs out the front door.
Yeah.
This is more so people, we've had issues with people at parks that are repetitively doing the same
yes.
behavior and not changing it. And people in neighborhoods that don't change behaviors, it makes it a little bit more substantial to not change behavior.
Mr. Hill.
It says for subsequent offenses up to $500. At whose discretion is that?
It would be it.
That is,
That's how it's written in the state laws.
okay.
I actually noted that too, and I think I'm gonna talk and we're gonna modify that, I imagine, because we're under 21D for collection purposes. It needs to be a specific amount, excuse me. So I was actually just making a note of myself.
Okay. So you'll get back to us on
Yeah,
that?
I will.
Okay. Or mostly work with Ms.
Yeah.
Green. I don't think we're going to debate what the,
Yeah.
Okay, so any other questions? Okay, I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
Can I add something to this?
yeah,
As far as failure to license, originally it was 25, we upped that to 50. Just want to make note of that so people know, because we have a lot of late dogs that don't license their dogs. We usually have about 300. And with the new date, they will be getting a year and a half because they'll be doing it in July, but it will be good until January 1st of 2026.
okay, yeah.
So hopefully gives them enough time to get their stuff done so they won't get the $50 late fee.
Are the
Okay.
fees staying the same, Beth?
Yes, the actual license fee is the same. So it's $10 and $15.
So 10 for a neutered,
Yes.
15 for intact?
Yes.
But the failure to license is,
Going from 25 to 50.
I think a lot of towns are at 50 bucks. I think some towns are at 100 bucks.
wow.
Let's do 100.
I'd do 100. I would.
Did you guys want
I'd do 100 bucks.
to do 100?
I would.
No.
Is that a disincentive to people who maybe are, like, not able to, because some people might,
A lot of people have 3 dogs,
that's, yeah,
so it's $50 a whack.
yeah.
Right, well, that's their problem.
It's my problem.
Yeah, but it's right, but it's their fault if they don't register their dog.
I think we're going
Guess
to come
what?
back to this next.
300 bucks.
next May.
We can always revisit it, but perhaps we can do it incrementally, like going from 25 to 100 seems, but to 50, and then if you feel super strongly, you can do a citizen's petition, or you could recommend that we add a warrant article.
I just think everybody knows that they have to register their dog.
They do, but speak to Ms. Sloan, and she has habitual,
Right, but what, if you're sending out a bill for 50 bucks, what's the difference if it says 50 or 100 on
does
it?
anybody else feel particularly strongly that we should
Dog with a
change
bone,
that?
right.
I don't feel strongly, but
Pun
I'd
intended.
like the 100, but I don't feel strongly.
Okay, all right, so I will entertain a
we're
motion
doubling
to
it, I
place
think.
and recommend,
Yeah, keep it the way it is.
you can, vote no if you'd
Okay,
like.
no, that's
Okay, all right,
Keep it-
okay, all right, so we voted to place and recommend. Okay,
With changes, right? Because they're going to be, this,
with the March 1st to and then whatever the changes that Kate works with
Oh,
them
for
on.
subsequent offense. Yeah.
Okay, anything else with the animal control officer?
That's it.
Well, it's lovely to see you and not about a dangerous dog hearing, so that's amazing. Yep, that's great.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you very much.
Madam Chair.
The planning board did vote in January the,
Okay, great, so we're good.
the article. It's in the minutes that was at the, file at the town clerk.
Amazing. Thank you for following up, and that means the vote we took is perfect, and we can just move on. Amazing. Okay, so let's slog through, shall we? The ones that we didn't talk about. Is there anybody, Beth, did you have any other articles that you, okay. All right, so, we've got, Article 1 of the town meeting. And this is, just to hear the reports of various town officers, committees, special committees. I'll entertain a motion to place and recommend.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. Then Article 2, see if the town treasurer collector enter into compensating balance agreements. This is to maintain account using credits instead of money to pay for banking cards. Entertain a motion to place and recommend.
Second.
And just as an FYI, prospectively on all these, if there's a money, if there's a dollar amount attached to it, I'm going to just ask for a motion to place, because we want to hear back from our brethren in FinCom as to whether we're going to recommend, unless people feel wildly strongly when the article comes up. Article 3, to see if the town will vote to fix the salary and compensation of all paid elected and committee officers of the town, town clerk, $82,400. I will entertain a motion to place this article.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, Article 4. This is the town accountant. This changes the accounting and reporting of the water department, which operates under Chapter 41, Section 69B, and he outlines a bunch of benefits, but we are not the elected water commission, and it is proposed by the town accountant. So I will entertain a motion to place, and I don't know if you want to defer to town meeting or if you want to recommend. It's up to you guys.
I defer.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to place and defer to town meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Article 5, yada, yada, this is water to determine what amounts of money the town will raise and appropriate by taxation, transfer from free cash, town ambulance, water department revenues, water surplus, Title 5, special revenue, et cetera, et cetera. So this refers to the FY '26 annual budget lines as presented in the informational warrant. I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Article 6. This is the override.
This is the override.
Yep. I don't think I need to go into it, but the explanation, FY 2026 annual budget line that would be increased if a town of Hanson operational budget override is passed. I will entertain a motion to place, and honestly, I know you guys are gonna say to defer, but the problem we ran into the last time when we said to defer was people at town meeting are saying, does the select board recommend this? And if we don't recommend it, then what the heck is it doing in the town meeting warrant proposed by the select board?
I still want to defer the town meeting.
You're deferring anyway because the vote is town meeting. So what they want to know is, do we support the override? And if we don't, then we shouldn't have a damn article in here that
Well, I'd
says
rather
what.
look at it from the point of view that I support the placing in the warrant of this article for them to vote on.
I agree with that. I agree with Ann 110%.
Fine, then place and defer.
Defer with the understanding that I'm recommending that we place it. Yes. I mean,
Right, we're
that's
placing
for
it.
them to do, seriously.
Okay,
And I have said this a million times. It's up to the town meeting.
it is. Okay,
That's all there is to it.
so did I have a motion
So
and a second?
moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Jay, can I ask a question? Did you guys already vote the question again, or is that later? I
Oh,
was
yeah.
there earlier.
No, that's a separate,
That's right. I think you guys are going to do.
yes, we are. Yep, it's on the warrant. It's on the, agenda. We just haven't gotten to that yet.
That's okay.
Yep.
Make sure that-
Article 7, I don't think we, yeah, I think we need to, vote to place, but you guys haven't met yet, so I don't see how we could recommend something you haven't met on yet.
Just make a motion to place.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to place.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Article 8, vote to adopt, to transfer. Something's weird with that.
Yeah, the word adopt needs to come out.
Okay.
Vote to transfer.
Transfer.
$200,000 to be added to the stabilization fund. I think this is a situation where well, it's proposed by the finance committee, but I don't know, they may tweak it, I don't know. Once they start crunching the numbers, and they haven't officially voted to recommend it, even though it's their article. So I think unless you guys disagree, we should probably just vote to place and then we'll vote on whether we recommend, seeing what they say.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Article 9, vote to appropriate or reserve from fiscal year 2026, community preservation. This is basic blocking and tackling that community preservation has to do. They have to allocate 70%, and then they've got their administrative expenses, and that's all under the CPA law. So I don't know, Mr. Kincher, were you consulted about those dollar amounts, whether they're accurate? Okay.
Yes, yep. And I
Okay.
checked them all out with the estimates and all that.
Okay, cool. All right, I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay? And Article 10, wage and personnel bylaws, and this is where we've had discussions and voted about this in wage and personnel. Director of the highlighted items are being added or changed. See if the town will vote to amend wage and personnel's classification and compensation by deleting sections 11A through 11E in its entirety and inserting the new sections 11A through 11E. And then we've got Director of Elder Affairs, $35,000 to $80,000, Building Commissioner, $75,000 to $105,000. And then we've got some modifications on, why isn't that in the explanation?
Gas pump and wire.
Is it in the explanation? In the article, we don't say anything about the modifications to the 11C, the gas inspector, plumbing inspector, wiring inspector.
Madam Chair, too, in my comments, I don't know if it was caught because it wasn't in the red line, it was in a side comment. If you look at the dates, I'm not sure if this chart is correct because the dates looked at are 10/7/2024 and 5/5/2025. And it should be what was fiscal 25 and it will go into 7/1/25 for fiscal 26.
Okay,
So that was one of the comments. I don't know if you caught the comments that were on the side. You did, okay.
So, I think that we were just gonna double check the actual date, so the 5/5 should be 7/1 instead of 5/5,
Definitely
okay.
That one, for sure.
Okay.
And most likely the 10/7/24, like all of it should be moved over, right, to check. Because the current rates would be 5/5/25, and then the new rates will be 7/1/25.
I think the 10/7/24 is when we voted them.
They were voted at the October special town meeting in this column, so.
Oh, okay.
So that's why that reflects the October dates.
Okay. Oh, I
Okay.
see. Okay.
But is that when they were effective?
That's how we've always done it.
Okay.
But Kate's right, instead of 5/5, it should be 7/1.
7/1.
That's when it takes.
And when it takes effect, yeah.
Okay, all right, so also, we don't have the gas inspector, plumbing inspector, wire inspector, anything from section 11C, part-time positions, isn't mentioned in the,
Well, it's deleting the whole, everything and replacing it with everything.
yeah,
So why does it have to be, the other
I guess we don't need to call it out, but
The other one, these guys aren't called out.
let me just see. No, let's just see if there's some explanation here.
It just says.
No, it says, the change to compensate are bold italicized text. So just make the changes in the dates, and I think we're fine. I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
So moved.
Second. I just have one
Yeah.
quick thing. So 11D, just keeping with the theme of when it was voted, all the other ones say October 7th, but 11D, it says 10/17. So you might just have to change, maybe
Oh,
have to change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're recommending this?
11D is, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, because we already voted on it in wage and personnel, that, and it's, you know,
It's not actual dollars.
it's not actual dollars, it's like,
It's a range.
yeah, it's notional of what people could get. Okay, so did I have a?
So moved.
And
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Article 11, we already voted.
It's all set.
Placed and recommended.
Yep. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the following sums of money. Yeah. So I think on this, we're gonna need to have to hear back from FinCom. And I know Mr. Melissi had some concerns about this, and I think it was a bit of a surprise of, that there was gonna be a deficit that, we
Yeah,
needed
that's
to.
a big
to-
deficit too.
Yeah, so, I would suggest that we vote to place, but that we stay the course. We kind of pump the brakes on any recommendations, so we'll hear back from FinCom. So I will entertain a motion to place.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. 13, this is Water Department, so I will entertain a motion to place and probably defer to town meeting since it's not our article.
So moved.
We're not elected
Second.
to do that, okay. All in favor? Okay. And that brings us to Article 14, 275,000 for legal fees for MBTA community. I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Article 15, 9,950 from free cash to have the town hall upper and lower parking lot repaired. I will entertain a motion to place and we'll wait on the recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Article 16, 12,692 to have the town hall fire alarm system upgraded. I will entertain a motion to place and we'll defer on the recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Article 17,
Ready?
we already did that. 18, we already did that. 19, we already did that. That brings us to 20. And Ms. Green.
So number 20 is being proposed by the highway director. It's a pavement excavation moratorium, and town council is reviewing this. We do know there is some language at the bottom regarding contacting the highway department with an email address. It's been suggested that we take that out, so we'll remove that language. Again, it's proposed, basically, it's just to ensure that roads that are repaved by the highway department, repaired in any way, that an outside firm cannot come in, tear up the road, and that within 5 years, and then leave it a mess, so that the town has to refix it, or go after these people to put the road back in the condition it was.
Even after 5 years, we don't want them messing it up and leaving it a mess,
Right,
but.
but this at
okay.
least ensures, at least for 5 years, that nobody can come in and rip that road up.
Okay, but we need to work on wording, but the concept is appropriate?
Yeah, my comment was, did someone look at this from my office? And the answer was no, so now it's in fact mine. So,
Okay. Yeah, it reads almost more like a policy than,
Right.
an article.
I think it might be some tweaks to it.
Yep, all right, so I will entertain a motion to place, and why don't we, just pump our brakes until, I mean, I don't know, I think we're recommending it, we obviously don't,
Yeah,
but
recommend, subject to.
place and recommend, subject to town council tweaking it.
Okay.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Article 21, see if the town will vote to transfer 15,000 from free cash, or any available funding for private roadway improvements. I again, this is a money article, and we are tight, and maybe one of the things we need to do is cut private roadway improvements. We're really in a dire strait, so we'll see what our brethren in FinCom say. But I will entertain a motion to place.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. We already did 22, we got rid of 23, we already did 24, we're cooking with gas, we did 25, and that brings us to 26. To see if the town will vote to transfer, oh yeah, we already did that, sorry. Yep, and then that brings us to 27, $6,700 from free cash to have the traffic lights at 542 Liberty Street connected to the backup generator. I will entertain a motion to place, and we'll see what FinCom says.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
I hope this actually happens.
It's a great idea.
It's a safety
Yeah.
issue that would help everybody.
I agree. It is a great idea. But we are in dire straits, so. And then Article 28, to see if the town will vote to set the spending limits of the following revolving accounts. So I will entertain a motion to place, and I think, again, let's see what FinCom comes up with on that. So I will entertain a motion to place. So
Second.
all in favor? Amazing. And then 29 is the citizens petition, and 30 is the citizens petition, so we don't have any dog in that fight.
Right.
Why are they exactly the same?
Because they did not coordinate. You and I could submit the exact same citizens petition, and it's my right to do that, and it's your right to do it.
But I'm just wondering why they're
There's probably two people coordinated and then
They may have copied language from prior articles, because if you recall, we have been circling the drain on this
Yeah.
particular concept.
But it's just exactly.
Okay. Well, I honestly, I feel like it's Groundhog Day. Every May, we're gonna be talking about NIPS, and then October, we'll be talking about them again.
I gotta tell you something. Ever since that passed, I never had nips in my front yard. Now they're throwing them in my front yard like I voted for it. I didn't vote for it.
I don't mean to laugh, but I think other people's experience has been vastly different
No, I'm
than
just
that.
saying,
So
I'm
maybe
just
people
saying.
are, you might have a neighbor who was
I don't
torqued
know,
off
all of
about
a
it.
sudden now they're throwing them.
You might have somebody who lives near you, who maybe they thought you were.
Saying it was you?
No. When you're done, I just wanted to chime in on the traffic light issue here, just to bring a little background on how this came about.
You already did.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, you talked to us about it at a past meeting.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't know if I need to reiterate, why it's here.
No, that's totally understandable. We
Okay.
voted to place it, we just didn't recommend because it's a money article, and we're not recommending any money articles today, so.
Okay.
Why the hell not?
All right, special town meeting, Article 1. We've got, this is past bills from various.
And then we have an additional one,
Yeah.
one additional.
So I will entertain a motion to place, and we really don't have much of a choice. They're past bills, we owe this money, so I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
But I gotta say, I wanna say there's an additional $12.50 going on to this one. Okay.
Yep. You guys are gonna update that.
Yeah.
Article 2 of special town meeting, vote 5,000 from ambulance account to pay for ambulance billing. This was proposed by the fire chief. It's coming from his own money, so I would go out on a limb and say that we could place and recommend this. I will entertain a motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. We already did 4, and we already
And
did
then
5.
3,
did 6.
4, 5.
Oh, we gotta do 6.
We gotta do 6.
6 and 7.
97,059 for additional expenses for snow and ice removal, because
We have to cover this.
Yes, we do, because he's already expended that money. So I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
Second.
All in favor? And then that brings us to Article 7. Create library building committee until such time as it's complete. I will entertain a motion to place and recommend.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Amazing.
Can bend and strong in.
All right. So, any other questions from anybody? Mr. Kinshirf, any You want to gild the lily for us? Anything you want to? Well, all we can do is set the
It was a
table.
very ominous way of saying it.
And what people eat and don't eat and how they eat is not up to us, so.
When you say, sign the warrant.
Ms. Green, when will we be signing the warrant?
Well, we will make all the changes and, I mean, we can have it out for the board. We can actually bring it to your homes tomorrow, or if you want to sign it tonight, knowing that we're going to update the corrections. But
No.
We'll make all the corrections tomorrow, and then I can, bring it to each home, to each one of them, unless you
I
can
will
come
be
in.
home tomorrow.
Can we sign it here?
Yeah, just let us know when it's ready.
Yeah, why don't you just I don't think you need to.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll let you know when it's ready,
yeah.
but I thought it had to be posted, so.
It does have to be posted this week, so, I can get in touch with the constable.
Does it have to be posted tomorrow?
No, it has to be posted by Saturday.
Okay.
And that's just a special town meeting.
Yes.
It's posted by Saturday. But we would like to have the vote posted at the same time.
Uh-oh, she's looking at me. I was gonna say, what's my deadline?
Okay, but, so for the special town meeting, what modifications did you have? Other than adding that one, bill in there?
For this, that was it.
Then do
Oh,
people
actually,
feel comfortable signing that tonight with that one modification? I mean, that's all the change it's gonna be.
So actually, with the articles that have to do with the planning, there was one that were proposed by the planning and the select board, so I think we're removing the select board and only having planning.
Right, but the articles are the articles.
The articles are not gonna change,
It was
we're just gonna
merely a
make
case
it,
of
we're
who
just gonna
was-
correct who the proposed by.
Yeah, okay, so I think the board generally feels comfortable with signing because it's not material changes, they're ministerial changes.
Yes.
For the special town meeting warrant. And then when does the, town meeting warrant need to be posted?
Next Saturday.
The
12th?
Are you meeting?
we're meeting next week.
The 12th?
So if you guys could have the warrant for the town meeting ready for us to sign at next Tuesday's meeting, that would be amazing.
Yep, yep.
Okay, and, okay. All right,
All right.
so that brings us to, well, since, we have been, discussion, just because we've got town council here and we've got our town clerk here. Discussion to rescind original ballot question language and vote revised override ballot question language. Ms. Green.
So ballot question, language was introduced to the board, back on March 25th. And there's been some confusion of, when you read the ballot question as it states, there is some confusion that this override is only for the schools. Even though in the last sentence, it does say both the town and the schools, there's some confusion on how it's read. Town council did suggest that we modify the language, to specifically, point out that the override is for the cost of operating the schools, police department, fire department, and other town departments for the fiscal year. So, beginning July 2025. So this makes it a little bit more clear that
Yes,
this override is not only for the schools, but for all town departments.
I like it, it's much clearer. I will entertain a motion to rescind the original wording for the ballot and to use the new proposed, language as outlined by Ms. Green.
I think you have to actually say it out loud.
Oh,
Okay, so I will, not the rescinded one, just the new one?
Just the.
Okay, all right. I will entertain a motion first to rescind what we originally had, as the ballot.
So moved.
second.
Okay, all in favor? Great. And now I will entertain a motion to adopt the following as our ballot language. Shall the town of Hanson be allowed to assess an additional $3 million in real estate and personal property taxes for the purposes of providing for the general administrative cost of operating the schools, police department, fire department, and other town departments for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025? I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Are we good?
That's good.
Okay,
That's
amazing.
perfect.
All right. All right, we are really just chugging along here. All right. Then we have a point, this is exciting. I do want to have a little pause because we've had openings on our sad little Economic Development Committee for ages, and Scott Rothwell has applied to be a member. And Scott attended our Hanson Economic Forum and felt so impassioned by what we were doing there that he applied to join us. So I'll entertain a motion to appoint Scott Rothwell to Economic Development Committee. And as is typical, we usually need to meet or know a person.
He thought you forgot about him. I talked to him today.
Scott, I know Scott through the Hanson Business Network, and he is a veteran-owned business. He owns Catering Boss. He does events up at the American Legion. He's extremely community-minded. He's lived in Hanson, if not his whole life, the majority of his life. And he's really jazzercised about being part of the Economic Development Committee.
I also met him at the.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and that will be for a 3-year term effective tomorrow. Okay, and then that brings us to potential public forums on the override questions. I really think that we need to try to have some public forums with either our chiefs and Ms. Green and maybe somebody from the school committee or the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District during the month of April leading up to the town meeting, in which people could ask questions. And this isn't meant to be throwing tomatoes at people or, you know, getting combative with people. It's meant to really be a forum for people to sincerely ask earnest questions that they have about how did we get here, what are we doing about it, what's the proposal on the table. So Ms. Green, did you have a couple of dates that you were entertaining?
Well, I did speak with the schools. I reached out to see if the middle school is available. They did say that the week of April vacation, which is the 21st to the 25th. They said normally they do not allow usage of the buildings, but in this case, they would allow the town to use the building that week, apart from the 21st, which is a holiday.
Okay.
So it's the will, you know, whatever's gonna work out for the board as far as availability, we can look at that week. The next 2 weeks, if we can narrow down some dates, I can reach out to see if the schools are available, for other days.
I think you just need to set the dates and then whoever can come will come. And,
Is it a weeknight, are we talking, are we talking a
Yep,
Saturday?
so Whitman is doing 2 weeknights. They're doing one the week just prior to town meeting. They're doing one more like next week type of thing. And then they're doing a morning one, I think at their senior center. I think that seemed like a kind of a good idea, like that balance seemed kind of good.
Yes.
I think it's important, I mean, we gotta.
Yeah.
My only question around this, just, again, logistically is, because I'm all for open communication, debates on the floor, stuff like that, but are you gonna have like an outline for how this is gonna happen?
I think it would basically be, discussion, like reading what the override is, reading some of the FAQs that we've got on the web, like we've basically got all of the material that we need. It's really just an educational, like, here's what happens if it passes, here's what happens if it doesn't pass, you
Who's
know.
gonna facilitate it?
Miss Green would be facilitating. And perhaps we could see if Mr. Keeley might be able to help, or if Mr. Hayes would be willing to, you know, sort of like,
I just think it's important to think about some of that stuff, because if it's like more like an educational forum.
It is yeah.
With kind of an agenda of how we're gonna do it, I think the more structured this can be, the better, because the point of it, I'm assuming, is to get information out.
It is.
And you don't want it to go sideways with other things that could happen that would prevent us from being able to get as much information out as possible.
Agreed. And I think it's in the, you know, sort of like primordial stage right now of development. So, we've got a little bit more work to do on that, but point well taken. Did anybody else have any other thoughts? Okay, Ms. Green.
If maybe people can give me some dates that might work better than others, because it's kind of hard for me to pick a date out and try and coordinate it with the schools and then find out, you know, we're not available that day, I can't make it. So sometimes maybe helping pinpoint some dates, I can reach out and say, is this date, this date?
Well, for one, we're not scheduled to meet on April 22nd, which is a Tuesday night.
So we could definitely, yeah. we
And
could
since
work
that's a
on
week that the school said that they're able to do it, perhaps that would be a good starting point.
Yeah.
And then,
Suggest not doing Tuesday if we do another one, just in case people are busy Tuesday nights.
right, maybe do like a Wednesday or
Thursday or-
Thursday, yeah.
So I can ask for maybe Wednesday, April 30th,
Why not?
and do that. And do we want to have one more?
And then a morning, like
Want to do it at the senior center, please do it on a Thursday morning. I can
yeah,
attend
that would be great. So, like, I will try to go to the senior center one
Tuesday
too.
or Thursday, but
And if Miss Rain wants to go, then I think we should.
please.
So do we want to look at April 24 or May 1 for a Thursday morning?
Why don't we try to
May 1 is
spread
no
it?
good for me.
Oh, it isn't?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What are you gonna do,
I have
Maypole
bargaining on
activity?
that
You've got
day,
Maypole
so-
activity that
No, I'm going to a
day?
convention down.
I'm just giving you a hard.
You can give me a hard time. I actually do. I used to give out little Mayflowers. Haven't done that in years.
What's the, May 1st is what, the,
Well, actually, May
What day of
1st,
the
I
week?
could do May 1st. We're going that night. It's a dinner that night to open.
So I do have bargaining that on May 1st, so I would not be able to attend.
okay, well,
Well, what about the 24th?
Oh, the 24th, yes, 24th,
all
absolutely.
right, so in the morning?
24th in the morning,
We
yes.
better check with Mary and see.
So you
I
got the
mean,
22nd and the
they have
24th?
things
That's what we do.
planned there, so.
So
we should
April
need to-
22nd, Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
22nd evening,
Thursday, April 24th in the morning.
okay.
And then, do we want to look at a date?
I thought you had said the 30th or something, I don't,
Do we want to do the 30th in the evening?
what day of the week is that?
That's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
I
yep,
will not be there.
3 is perfect.
yep, that seems like a good number.
That works? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I will work on those dates.
And what time are we thinking, you guys, do we wanna kinda do like maybe 5 o'clock and then a 7 o'clock, like, or do we wanna do 7 for both of them?
I think you go town meeting rules, because the earlier we did the town meeting, the more people we got.
That's true.
I think we should stick with that, so whatever that is, what's that,
So it's
6:30?
Yeah,
I think we shoot for that.
6:30.
I like
Yeah.
6:30, because
All
we'll
right,
get.
yeah,
And what date was the Tuesday one?
The
22nd.
The 22nd.
yep.
So we'll do 6:30, and then when we do Thursday morning, I can work with Mary, but what's a good time?
I think 9-ish, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But depends on what time, what
On
they have
24th?
going on too.
Yeah, she may have activities, and if she does, we
That's
could
right.
kick it to a little bit later or a little bit earlier or whatever.
Oh, any
Yeah.
Coordinate that.
Yeah, we can roll with that, and then,
And then on April 30th, we will look at the 6:30 PM timeframe again.
all right, and then, yeah, let's think about, what the framework is going to be.
Format, yep.
I would say if that 24th, if that Thursday morning one doesn't work out, then use that the 30th as a flex day and put that in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's more important that we get one in the evening, one in the morning.
I agree,
So just,
Okay.
yeah.
All
I
right,
agree.
we will work on that tomorrow.
And I don't know if the Whitman folks are like going to a PTO meeting or anything of that sort, but, I don't know. I'll reach out, but that was just like the preliminary stuff. They may be nailing some of that down tonight too.
On the floor.
Oh, yes.
I think also too, before you close out the town meeting stuff, I think you should vote to put it at the Whitman Hanson High School.
We did.
Subject to, you
We
did.
did.
You voted.
Subject to you and the
Okay.
moderator.
I wanted to make sure, we
yep.
couldn't remember if you actually voted it.
Yes, we did. We voted that subject to you and the moderator
Yeah, okay.
working
Okay.
and doing what you're supposed to do. Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, and so there's that, and then, am I missing anything? No. All right, so then that brings us to accept resignation of Kate Godwin as Youth Services Officer. Youth Services Librarian, rather. I will entertain that motion.
So,
Second with regret.
All in favor? Okay, and then nominate Mary Collins as the OCES Board of Directors, effective 7/1/25 to 6/30/26. I will entertain that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Amazing.
Just a yearly thing.
Yep. Was there anything new on the override or the MBTA Community Act?
There is a court hearing actually tomorrow morning in Plymouth County. I was planning on attending that, so I can report back.
Okay.
Because I would like to attend that just to hear, right, and then I can provide the board with updates
great.
on that.
And one thing I did see that Middleborough,
They settled their case.
yes, settled their case on the MBTA community they had submitted a 40R plan, and they said to the state, we have a 40R plan, and it's very, simpatico. It may not be identical with what you're requiring for MBTA communities. And in short, the state said, okay, we will accept your 40R, and we will consider you MBTA compliant and accept your 40R. Another town in the state also had a similar experience. So it may be that that's something, we'll see how this all plays out, but it may be something that we reach out to our brethren in planning and say,
All right, so I actually, and I've dropped the ball on this, I have a plan from Tony that I have to go over, that he sent to both me and Teresa.
because they've been starting
Yes,
to,
because,
Yeah.
it would be nice that, I want us to have our own plan, and I don't want to be dictated by the state.
Correct, yeah.
So that's where.
so I'm really, so Tony we
Buried
had
in my
started a
email.
40R in fits and starts.
Yes.
It's been, and we've had some turnover, and then it was like, well, now we're getting pulled in this direction. So there is some foundational preliminary work that's been done on it. And so I just plant that little bee in everybody's bonnet. That's something that we should think about and talk about and perhaps nurture a little bit, and it may get us where we want to go without the oversight, without the overreach of the MBTA Communities Act. Okay, anything, Ms. Green, I think, you're probably going to talk about this in your town administrator's report, but at our last meeting, we talked about sending a letter to the schools asking them to revisit their assessment to us, to the district. So I'm sure you'll bring that up. All right, I will entertain an approval for the Stephanie Marie McLeod bridal shower and Sheila Morse celebration of life. I will entertain a motion to approve those one-day liquor licenses.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 25th.
Here,
I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Amazing. And then does anybody have a deep burning desire to give us a committee update on I'm economic development, and I can say, no, I do not have a deep burning desire. A High Street Park Committee?
Nope.
Anything cooking on that? Highway Committee?
Nope.
Okay, amazing. Whitman Hanson Regional School Agreement Catering. Well, please permit me just a moment as I digress, because I happened to read in the Express last week that the school committee had met to discuss the proposed changing of the allocation of non-mandated busing expenditures.
Also, yes.
And while I certainly can respect that the school committee has a role in the regional agreement, I want to assure all of you that we have discussed this before, and you have all told me that under no circumstances will we entertain any amendment to the regional agreement that contains any change that's going to shift costs through us for the non-mandated busing.
$50,000, I believe, is the number I read.
Yes, so I just wanted to reiterate that I have not changed our position. I will not be changing our position. And I believe that it was the mandate of the board that any amendment that is presented that contains that, we will not even be presenting it to town meeting. So we're probably about a year away from when that might come, but I just wanted to let you know that despite all of the narrative and discussion that's being had, and despite some impressions that we may not have the voice that we should have with respect to some of the matters with the school district, I will continue to support the position that this board took with respect to the non-mandated busing, and we will not be accepting that change. So I will now step down off of my soapbox, and I will turn it over to Ms. Green for her town administrative report.
Okay, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the board. I'm happy to report we are basically finishing up the interviews for the IT director position. I've had the pleasure of having the planning board chair, Joe Campbell, sit on one part of the interviews. And then our Whitman counterpart, Steve Burke, has sat with us on the second set of interviews.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you for a moment, but Mr. Campbell is here, and on behalf of the board, I sincerely want to thank you, because I know you helped us with the first round, and you're helping with this round, and we know you have a day job, and you're on several committees, et cetera, so thank you very much for your dedication and your support.
Appreciate it again.
Thank you. Okay.
So I do plan on presenting 1 to 2 candidates before the board next day, April 15th, for consideration. So very excited to move forward with that process.
Exciting.
So grants, Green Communities, which is not impacted by the MBTA community. So we did qualify for this round of the Green Communities grant. We are focusing this grant on the police station, which has basically been the subject of HVAC issues, heating, air conditioning. So the grant is for basically looking at the building envelope. They're going to be doing some weatherization. They did identify many areas that have, over the years, basically dwindled as far as the weatherization. So they're going to be doing some insulation, weatherization. And what this is going to do, this is part of an initiative that will enhance the energy efficient, the comfort and long-term building durability. This is also going to, we've also put in the grant to replace 2 of the older water heaters with 2 new electrically powered heat pump water heaters. They're more efficient. They provide least carbon intensive. And basically what this is going to do, this technology is going to dovetail us into the greater electrification of the HVAC system of the police station. So basically it's looking at the envelope of the building and kind of preparing it to decarbonize down the line. So this particular grant here is $89,500. So this is going to be the start of, helping the police station with correcting the insufficient HVAC system that the building it has now.
Okay, so we're because I know Chief Mix has just been, it's the bane of his existence. Like the unpredictable nature of the HVAC system that is in that building now has been an albatross for him, trying to figure out. And, it seems as though a system that really was intended for residential use was put in the fire station. And so he's been, police station rather, he's been limping along and doing the best he can, but this will help him.
Yeah, so what this is, there's really no grants out there to help replace an HVAC system. So looking at it from this perspective, like I said, this starts the process to basically consider the envelope of the building, and it looks to decarbonize it. So they will look at some type of a new heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, that there are grants for up to $250,000 that we will be able to apply for, but this is just the first step of that. And of course, our Charlie Baker, and the consultants are in touch with Chief Mix, and Deputy Chief Casey. So this is being done with their full knowledge of it.
Are they putting in
going
new
forward.
windows?
Not included in the grant. So the Green Communities doesn't cover putting in new windows and things like that, but, you know, if they have windows that have, cracks in them or need any type of insulation around it to weatherize it, it focuses on that.
So like if they need weatherization strips or something
That's
like that?
right,
Okay,
exactly,
all right.
exactly. So, we did submit the application, the state did, confirm the, receipt of it, so now we just wait to see if we get the grant.
Okay.
And then I get to update the, generator over at the Library Council on Aging. The generator is being shipped, so that's very good news.
It is good news.
And we're just waiting, Charlie Baker, that will receive word when it has arrived. And then hopefully, within the next few weeks, I did not have, we didn't get an ETA on the arrival date, but we know it's on its way.
And we've locked in the price, it's not,
Everything is locked in. We've
Okay.
got the agreements all signed, sealed, and so, you know, that's good news because we've
Okay.
been waiting on that. So, the board had directed, at the March 25, meeting for me to draft a letter, to the school committee regarding reconsidering the assessment. I did do that, and I did send it by email to the, school committee chair, Beth Stafford, and CC'd a copy of that to the superintendent. So that's been taken care of. There is a copy in your materials on that. So Bridgewater State has provided an update with the amount of surveys that they've received electronically. They have 328 that they've received electronically. Council on Aging, Mary Collins does have a number of printed copies that have been completed, so we're gonna pick them up and then we'll deliver them over to Bridgewater State so they
is
can
she
keep.
keeping them in some fashion that's anonymous so that people don't?
Yeah, there's nowhere that they can put their names or anything like that, so
Okay,
hopefully, you know, hopefully people are not putting their names on
Yeah.
it because it's not required. It's the same survey as online, but we printed it for people that don't have that access. So,
That's great.
you know, we'll get those surveys to them, and we're really hoping that, you know, by April 18th that we can get all the printed copies so they can begin to compile that.
Can we maybe pump it out a couple more times on social media?
Absolutely.
And did we put anything in the Express about it?
You know, I did reach out to them, I did send an email, but I didn't see that it made it into this Thursday's edition, so I did follow up with another email and asked if they could do a public service announcement with the QR code and, you know, the, information that if they go to the Hanson website, the, hansonma.gov, as soon as you open that website on the first page, there's a red banner that says Hanson Survey. You click on that banner, it immediately will bring you to the window where the QR code and the link is. So either way, you know what I mean, it goes there immediately.
Yeah, some
There's
folks
also-
were like, I don't know how to use the QR code. I don't think they had read through to the point where you could click on the link.
You had a link,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Now, we did discover through emails that we received that the flyer that we had, you know, sent out and then we had online, because the word link was in front of the link, when they clicked on it,
It went
It-
nowhere.
it went to an error page.
404.
So
Okay.
we didn't know that that was happening until people received an email about it and then let us know. So we immediately started addressing the issue. Doreen worked, we worked with, you know, technology, Steve worked to fix that. The flyer has been corrected, so basically if they click on the Hanson MA, it brings them to right to the page and then they can click a link there. Or they can take a picture of the, QR code.
And again, it's on the Hanson budget
It's on that, it's on the
too.
website, that website, it's on our main website, so we've got the banner, we've got it on the first page, then we also have, a box that says, the Hanson budget. They can click on that and it brings them right to the budget. So, I mean, we've got that right on the first page.
Okay.
So moving along, but please, and anybody I talk to, I recommend, have you filled out the survey? We've got the survey, we talked to them, so everybody's kind of doing their part. We have the flyers here in Town Hall. We've got flyers at library, senior center, as well as printed copies. So we're giving it to everybody. So we're just hoping, come on, people, please take the survey, it's really important. But that's where we are with that. And let's see. Now, as the board knows, our office has really been working on special annual town meeting. We will continue to work on it, make sure, and we're going to continue with the preparations. We will change the location as soon as we have that confirmed. And that completes my town administrator report for tonight.
Okay, great. Any questions for Ms. Green? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. We will not be returning to open session. Executive session, thanks, guys, good to see you. Pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 38, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Litigation discussions, union negotiations, admin, fire, highway, police, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. Executive assistant, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 38, section 21A7, to review and approve executive session minutes not to be released March 25th, 2025. I don't know why it says.
Yeah, and then it says
Okay.
for release.
Yeah,
Not
not
to-
for,
yeah,
so it
not-
should
not to
say
be
not
released.
for release.
Not for release.
And anytime we've got executive session minutes, it should say not for release. And that's an important distinction. Okay, roll call?
Aye.
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 Okay, great, and we will not be returning to open session.